Hi again guys, Melissa here. In today's video I'll be showing you the Asus Republic of Gamers Pugio 2 wireless gaming mouse. This mouse did get announced at CES and it's one of the new upgrades to the Pugio original, which was a wired mouse. So this one does have some new upgrades, and one being that it is wireless. So we'll go and check it out. One thing I will mention though is, unfortunately, the mouse doesn't currently have an RRP, so that is something that we would have to keep you guys updated in the future. But for now, let's go and unbox it and check it out. Unboxing the Pugio 2, you do get your user documents and a warranty booklet. You also get your Republic of Gamers logo sticker, a customizable badge, and the accessory box, which I'll go into more detail later. Not only that, you do get a 2-meter USB cable, so this is a USB-C to a USB Type A cable. And then finally, you do get your Pugio 2 mouse as well. So with the Pugio 2 wireless gaming mouse, it is an ambidextrous mouse, so that means if you are left or right-handed, it doesn't matter which, you will be able to use this mouse comfortably. So it gives you a lot of freedom in the sense that you're not having to specifically go out and look for a left-handed mouse or a right-handed mouse or anything like that. You could get this and know that it would work for both. The actual look of the mouse itself does look very smooth, and it does have a very sleek design. I do like the fact that they've added that kind of transparent shell on the top of the mouse. It gives the mouse a lot more of a quirkiness to it, instead of it just looking like this boring, bland black plastic. On the left and the right hand side of the mouse is where you'll find these kind of like textured grips. Unfortunately, they aren't made out of rubber, they are just the black plastic that the mouse is actually made out of, and they just kind of added the textured grips on the side. Another really cool thing as well is that this mouse does suit all grip types, so depending on which type of grip type you are, you know that the mouse is always going to feel very, very comfortable whilst you use it. As you can see as well, the left mouse button and the right mouse button do have their very own separate panels on the mouse. The reason for this is because all of these panels actually do lift off, giving you a more customizable experience. And it's actually underneath this shell that you can really start customizing the way you want your mouse to be, with the addition of the accessory box that's included. Inside the accessory box, it does include 2 swappable push-fit switch design on-run switches, 4 side button covers, and like a really cute little pair of tweezers to take the switches out of the mouse itself. If you did plan to change your switch type entirely with the mouse, the Omron D2F and the D2FC series switches are compatible with it. The mouse does have 7 programmable buttons. So you have your 2 buttons on the left hand side of the mouse, your 2 buttons on the right hand side, you have your left mouse button, your right mouse button, you have your clickable scroll wheel, and then you also have your pair button at the bottom of the mouse, your DPI button, and then in terms of the rest of the buttons, you do have your kind of like slider that will enable your 2.4 gigahertz wireless mode, and then your Bluetooth wireless mode as well. The Pugio 2's scroll wheel does have a rubberized textured grip on the top, giving you better control when using, and it also does have a very, very precise notch feeling when you're scrolling upwards or downwards as well. My experience with using the buttons as a whole, I did find them to be very responsive, and they definitely worked when I needed them to. I didn't have to put so much effort into pressing any of the buttons as such. It was more the fact of the right hand side buttons. The way my hand actually goes over the mouse, it's a bit of a stretch for me to kind of like move my fingers to kind of reach the buttons. So generally I did go ahead and swap them to the side covers, and then I've just got the buttons here on the left hand side because my thumb can reach those perfectly. To give the mouse some customization as well, it does include the customizable badge that you can change where the Asus logo is. Personally, I found it rather difficult to actually get the logo off initially. I couldn't really understand the instructions as much, but once I kind of figured it out that you had to put a lot of force in taking it off, it came off quite easily. However, the customizable badge that they've included with the mouse, I don't see the point in it. It's just like this blank, plain, see-through plastic that you just put there. And generally, if you don't have the Asus logo there and you have that blank customizable badge and then put the shell back on, to be honest, it just doesn't look nice. I don't really see the point in it. They could have added like another logo of theirs or just anything. Literally anything would have been better than just including this weird blank customizable badge. But yeah, so after initially getting the badge off and putting this one on, I was like, nah, I'm gonna have to put the Asus logo back in because it makes the mouse look a lot nicer. One of the things I did notice was when you're not using the cable and you are using the mouse just as a wireless mouse, there is just this really ugly hole right at the front of the mouse. And whilst yes, you're not really going to be seeing it that much, it's still there. Setup is really easy. You do have 3 different ways of using the mouse if you want to. So your first way is if you wanted to use it wired, all you'd have to do is plug the USB-C part of the cable that's included into the front of the mouse and then plug in the USB type A part into your PC or laptop port. The other ways are wireless. So with the dongle that's underneath the shell of the mouse, you then just take the dongle out, plug it into your USB port on your PC or laptop. And then on the slider at the bottom of the mouse, you can either change it to the 2.4 gigahertz wireless mode or the Bluetooth wireless mode as well. So you do have a lot of different connectivity options there with the mouse. It is worth mentioning though that if you do have to do any firmware updates on the mouse, you will have to go ahead and plug in your cable and use the mouse wired, just so you can do those firmware updates. But once you've done those, you can then go ahead and put the mouse back into its wireless mode. Its performance did provide virtually lag-free movement whilst playing games and doing daily tasks. I did do both of these with the 2.4 gigahertz wireless mode and the Bluetooth wireless mode as well, and there wasn't a point that I felt that the mouse was lagging behind at all, and just generally I felt that it managed to keep up with everything that I wanted it to do. The DPI can be changed on the fly, so if you wanted to, you could cycle through the 4 different presets that the mouse has to offer. If you didn't want any of those presets, you can actually go ahead and customize your own DPI. This is where it got a little bit difficult. In order to do this, you actually have to hold the DPI button down at the bottom of the mouse and then move the scroll wheel either up or down to increase or decrease the DPI precisely. Whilst doing this, you'll see that the scroll wheel actually has a color cycle that will identify the different DPI stages. So blue being the lowest DPI, going all the way up to red being the highest DPI. To be honest, in my opinion, it was very, very difficult for me to set a DPI because if you end up accidentally pressing another button whilst doing this, it then thinks that you're done and that's what you want your DPI to be because you pressed another button, so therefore if it's not, you've got to start all over again. And honestly, the whole process is just too fiddly for me, so I'm going to go ahead and just continue to use the presets. Moving on to the battery life in the Pugio 2 wireless gaming mouse. Asus did say that the mouse typically would last up to 69 hours in the 2.4 gigahertz wireless mode with the LED lighting turned off, and up to 100 hours in the Bluetooth wireless mode, again with the LED lighting turned off. With more power consumption with the LED lighting enabled comes less battery life. With this though, the mouse will do a red LED blinking lighting effect when the battery has only got 25% left, just to let you know when you should be thinking about charging it. With the software, you can remap buttons, add macros, you can adjust DPI presets, angle snapping, polling rate, button response and acceleration. You have all of your RGB lighting effects, so you can personalize your peripherals to the way that your setup is to match everything, or you can use your Aura Sync option if you have other Asus gear. Not only that, you can calibrate the lift-off distance and then finally control the power saving aspects. My overall thoughts on the Pugio 2 wireless gaming mouse is that the battery life is very good. Yes, you do get more battery life if you don't have the lighting effects turned on, but personally I would much prefer to have a longer experience with using the mouse than to have the lighting effects on anyway, but this is personal preference. It does have that customizable aspect as well, so if you want to go ahead and change the mouse button switches, you can do. If you want to change the side buttons, you can do. My dislikes would definitely have to include the DPI button on the mouse. I just think that it's a big faff and it's very time consuming to actually go ahead and change the DPI options. I'm so used to having DPI buttons either on top of the mouse or on the side, and whilst yes, I do accidentally press them mid-game, it's a lot quicker to deal with than if I wanted to change the DPI options mid-game with this mouse. Another dislike of mine is the fact of the customizable badge. I feel that maybe they could have added another variation of their logo or something like that, but they just added this blank customizable badge, and it's one of those, it doesn't look good. I'd much prefer to have the Asus logo on there. So again, it's pretty pointless, but they've added it. And then my final dislike is the big hole at the front of the mouse. In my opinion, it is something that's a big invitation to kind of like dirt and dust. So over time, it could be that the USB-C input could get clogged up over time. And if it came to you needing to do a firmware update on the mouse and everything, trying to put this in and it's all clogged up, you might not be able to do the firmware update and it might even potentially break the mouse in future. But that is it guys for me today. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to the BitTech channel, please go ahead and make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on your notifications for when the next video goes live. I will see you for the next video. Bye!